MX Bikes is stepping up in a big way this October, November with the announcement recently of the EICMA Esports MX Championship in the game, a partnership with Init Esports, who of course helped out with the MX Simulator side of the series for a while. But this is actually a very cool event that all culminates in a real-life, in-person LAN tournament event that's happening at the EICMA show, which I'll pronounce the full name of that in a second. But let's talk about a little bit of the details of this championship and what you guys can expect from it. So all the information will be up on initesports.gg's page. You can check it out there. This is the homepage of the EICMA Esports MX Championship, ran through MX Bikes. Bunch of information down here about it. It basically is a 4-race championship culminating in the opportunity for, I believe, 10 riders to go to the actual event in Italy in early November to compete in MX Bikes in a LAN event. So this is the calendar right here at the bottom. They're starting on October 2nd, so already will have happened by the time you guys watch this video at Maggiora. Then they do Arco di Trento, Mantova, Rio, Lasardo, and end in EICMA, because the EICMA show is in Italy. It's in Milan, actually, so it's supposed to be like this grand Italian championship in MX Bikes. Pretty cool kind of organization, the way that this event is ran, to have a kind of championship pre-ran to get qualifiers. You have to be 18 years of age or older to qualify in. Once you're in, though, they invite you out to this show. You compete against your other fellow best competitors in the world, and a lot of great prizes up for grabs as well. So like I said, it is already a championship that is going, and the top 40 of each one of the 4 races will receive a complimentary one-of-a-kind EICMA collectible NFT, so that's already kind of a cool thing extending beyond the people that are invited. But it says at the end of the 4-race online tournament, the 10 racers in the championship classification will be invited to the live event. Any participant unable to attend the live event in Milan, Italy, have to give up his or her place to the next participant, and check the rulebook for all that information. So what they're going to do is the top 10 racers in the championship classification will receive an official invite. The IRL event will be held at EICMA Live on November 11th. Flight will be booked directly to or by the EICMA show with a spend of $750 for US residents, $350 for EU residents, and they'll also book a hotel room for you on November 10th and 11th. If you finish in the top 3 in the IRL event, you'll be invited to race the VIP race on Sunday, November 12th. The VIP race will be a car sim event. So I think in that car sim event, they'll be competing against other big name celebrity type athletes that'll be at this EICMA event. Kind of a cool thing. We're going to jump in the game and talk about it, but first just wanted to let you guys know what EICMA is, basically, for a lot of you Americans that maybe watch this video and have no idea. Really, it's the Milan Motorcycle Shows. It's this massive event in Italy that is really kind of pulling all of the European motorcycle companies together, and stands for that Italian name that I'll botch right here, Esposizione Internazionale Ciclo Motociclo e Accessori. So it's, yeah, EICMA. But that is what they're going to be going to and actually competing on a stage in real life against each other. So that's pretty cool. Let's talk about it. So really what this boils down to in essence is we finally have a simulation game esport event happening in real life. MX Simulator has operated for a decade and a half with, you know, pro level competitions, but it's always been obviously just over the, you know, the internet against competitors all across the world. And this is going to be a true test of some top level MX Bikes players actually being able to race against each other. The unfortunate part a little bit for me is that it still is probably going to be a little bit not everybody that should be there in terms of the top riders in MX Bikes, because not every single one of them are 18 plus, and not every single one of them are able to, regardless of a stipend or money available to them, be able to go to Europe on a whim like this. So it'll be interesting to see who ends up actually making it and going. I think you're going to see a lot of like the familiar European cast of characters that do well in MX Bikes that will end up actually being part of this. But we'll see. Maybe it ends up actually being, you know, much more open-ended than we assume. My plan with it is to kind of cover it a little bit from afar the entire way. I'm definitely not good enough in MX Bikes to even compete. And for us, we're not part of the streaming team with it. That's all down to Navo and what he does over there at Navo009 on Twitch. So, yeah, we'll just kind of cover it from afar. We'll talk a little bit about it as it happens and you know, talk about the winners and stuff like that. But really, for me, I think it's just cool to finally see, in some shape or form, a true, I would say, like, esports simulation competition for Moto. Because, yes, we've had the esports stuff for Supercross 6 the game, Supercross 5 the game, and stuff like that over the years. But while that is all fine and dandy, I feel like it's not truly the best, in my opinion, moto gamers in the world. And I know that the people that play those games are going to hate me for saying that, but I do think that the ones that play the sim games are better. They have learned a skill set in a very, difficult sequence of games, either through MX Sim or MX Bikes, to be really good at these games and show off these high-level moto games that honestly look better than those arcade-type games. So I'm excited for that because it feels like this is a good way of driving the sim community out to the public a little bit more. Keen to see kind of the reaction publicly to this because I feel like a lot of high-level esports that garner a lot of attention, while they do go to shows like this, where they thrive more than anything is having competitions that are standalone events. And I'd be keen to see if this works being part of like a show like this versus being almost be interesting to see it be part of something that's more of a gaming related event as well. This is obviously a motorcycle event, and then you're throwing this kind of gaming thing in the middle of it. And being part of the ESX stuff that happened in Supercross, I kind of saw firsthand how little that mesh happens naturally. There wasn't a lot of people that showed up at the stage for ESX to watch the finals of that. It wasn't necessarily like super well advertised either, but it was in the pits at a Supercross race where thousands of fans are walking by, and maybe 100 stopped to actually watch. So I think this is almost better if you get the core Moto Esports audience to somehow be able to be a little bit more connected and a little bit more a part of it than just having it at a motorcycle trade show. But we'll see. I think that a lot of how this event does just goes with the event running smoothly. In it has a lot of heart and desire into it as a promotional entity, so I think that's good. And I hope that it continues that way for them, and it continues to be pushed and I guess kind of continue to grow from that side of it as well. Seeing what they helped accomplish on the sim side, I just want to see that, get better, get a little bit more polished, better overall communication, stuff like that as a entity, I guess. And then for the players themselves, feel like they actually got to compete on a fair competition. Because another thing about these events is, this is not a game, or really any of these guys have not played a game where they're in front of an audience on a different computer, which is another thing to think about. If you're not on your familiar settings, familiar, upload refresh rate on your monitor, things like that, similar feel of the controller, like sometimes that stuff can be affected a little bit. It didn't really affect the ESX players because the guys that ended up doing the best probably were going to do the best anyway. But yeah, I'm kind of keen to see how that works. I think some people will probably bring their controllers. I don't think you can bring your own monitors to something like this, but maybe some people choose to. I don't know. Definitely excited to see it. Kind of excited to see that it's actually happening. And excited for the people that end up competing and battling for the win, that they get to be in front of an audience, be in front of a live performance like this, and actually get kind of their names and faces out there a little bit more than just through our small community, our small streams that we do. Maybe this one being a little bit more public-facing will help the game grow, will help things get a little bit bigger, and maybe let a few more people see all the cool stuff that goes on in the sim community. So like I said, I'm excited for it. Definitely going to continue to cover it as it goes on. I myself will be in Europe for the next couple weeks, so won't be too in-depth with the first 3 rounds of this kind of championship and who does what. But as we get closer to the finals, I'll probably make an update video and talk about the final roster and who's going and maybe who we expect to win from the cast of characters going over there. And of course, we'll be cheering them all on to do their best and hopefully do well. Running the official EICMA esports skin as well, which everyone needs to use. It's on the TM in the game. And I'll include a download link to that in the description. And any other information you guys want to gather, I'll try to include as many links as I can to it as well down below. But yeah, good luck to all the competitors that have already begun the journey towards trying to claim this championship in 2023. And hopefully it's the start of a long quest upwards for esport competition being displayed publicly and live to audiences around the world for Moto. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any more questions, be sure to get in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So long for now.